So have you recently discovered that you're a human design manifestor? You probably saw your body graph chart and had no idea what you were even looking at. Well, don't worry, because I'm here to help you get clear on what it means to be a manifestor and how all this human design information can even help you be the best, most authentic version of yourself, and even help you live your most abundant and fulfilled lives. And by the end of this video, you'll get the 411 on what it means to be a manifestor as we answer your pressing questions like, what does your type even mean? How is your type determined? What are the characteristics of the manifestor aura? And what are the manifestor strategy, not self, and signature themes? So if you enjoy this video and you want to continue to deepen your understanding of human design, I'd be so grateful if you could show me some love, hit that like button, and subscribe to my channel. So with that said, hi, my name is Crystal Alferrero, and I'm your fun-loving human design guide and host of the Magnetic Self podcast. So I thought it would be important to start off with the history of manifestors so that you could really understand their defining characteristics and why they're designed the way that they are. Manifestors have been the leaders and the rulers of the world for centuries, and just like their name suggests, they had the ability to quite literally manifest their vision into reality. They conquered the world and worked to avoid being controlled by anyone. And their rule really ended around 1781 when humans transitioned from being seven-centered to nine-centered beings. And instead of dreaming these empires into existence, they are now looking for a way to really integrate and express their independence. And they're really here to make an impact. So now that you have a brief idea of the manifestor's history and their roles within humanity, let's talk specifically about type and what that means, and also why this even matters. So what does your type even mean? Well, your type refers specifically to your energetic design. And according to Human Design, humanity is distinguished into 4 different types, each with different roles that we were meant to carry out. So you have your generators, including your manifesting generators. We have your manifestors, projectors, and reflectors. But anyway, type concerns the body, genetics, and specifically the aura. And each type has a different way of operating energetically and is based on our understanding of subtle energy and how we communicate on an unconscious level through the aura. And how is your type determined? Well, each person is imprinted into this world with specific genetic traits that we were essentially born in this world with to share with others and live our higher purpose. And the specific unique traits that are defined in your chart through your gates and your channels, so those lines and those numbers that you see on your body graph, ultimately determine which type you are and how that's expressed through your aura. And specifically, there are 2 things that stand out in the manifestor charts. So first of all, they have an undefined sacral center. So the square in the middle you see here is white within your body graph chart, unlike the generator. And for manifestors, there is a motor connection with the throat. And motors can be any one of the following. So it can be the heart, the sacral, the solar plexus, or root. But for manifestors, because their sacral is undefined, the throat would only be connected to either the heart, the solar plexus, or the root. So what are the characteristics of the manifestor aura type? Well, manifestors are powerful and fast-paced. They have the ability to act independently, to initiate action, and to impact others. These are truly their gifts, and they can honestly sometimes be perceived as threatening to other types, which is really not the case because of their powerful auras. Manifestors are at peace when they're alone, and they find peace in manifesting the things that they want for themselves. They do not want to be controlled, and they do not even need the help from others because they are independent and they don't need to rely on others to invite them or to give them something to respond to in order to create something for themselves. They are very fast-paced and they often feel like people are, needing to catch up with them. So they feel this underlying pressure to impact and to make things happen. And that really is the key to fulfilling their purpose. So Manifestors also have a closed and repelling aura, which is pushed outwards. And this can often be experienced or misinterpreted by others as the manifestors need to take control or be in charge of the situation. Manifestor energy is very spontaneous, which is why it's so important for them to be available and open to the urges from the universe to tell them what to do. These are the internal signs that they need to listen to. And any structure and shoulds from the external world should be ignored. So in terms of conditioning, manifestors have actually been conditioned to hold themselves back in order to please others or to gain approval. And this constant pressure to do and, constantly take action, similar to the generators, is something that they've been taught. But the thing is, manifestors need rest. They work in sprints and bursts of energy, and they aren't meant for the same 9 to 5 long hours like the generators. As a manifestor, you have a selective aura. So you're not here to please others, but to choose your own authentic path, and the right people will follow you. It's when you're sharing your truth and you're being unapologetic that the right people will be magnetized to you and they will find you. So the thing is, a lot of manifestors do seek this approval, and it's okay to do that, but in a healthy way. And remember that manifestors are energy types like generators, but they only generate this energy when they get these urges to act. So that's why it's really important to keep in mind to rest, because all this doing can really become an addiction, and that's what prevents these divine urges to come through for them. So what is the manifestor strategy? Well, first of all, strategy is determined by your type, and it's a tool that allows you to work with your energy rather than against it, so that you're met with less resistance as you move through life. The manifestor strategy and their, decision-making process is to inform. And as I mentioned earlier, because of their repelling aura, it can cause others to feel defensive, or it puts them in this defensive mode. So by informing and following that strategy, manifestors can break through this kind of highly charged auric interaction and really open the way to clear communication, so that these other types don't feel that tenseness. They don't feel that intimidation. And really, that's when manifestors can find the freedom from resistance they need in order to manifest the things that they want. And they need to inform after they've made the decision, but before they act. And this informing really just becomes an acceptable, practical part of the decision-making process. And when manifestors really understand and embrace the impact that they have on others, that's when things start to fall into place. And it's really becoming aware of the ways that their decisions affect others. That's the first step to really bridging those relationships and releasing their full impact potential. And as manifestors learn to inform before they act, to prepare people for how they might be affected by their actions, they will begin to feel this new kind of support from others. And that's really what they want. As much as they are able to do things independently, they do seek that approval from others. And when this resistance is no longer an issue, that's when anger does subside, and that's when they feel the sense of inner peace. And when they don't inform others, others start to feel disrespected or ignored, whereas informing actually gets rid of that fear and builds trust in order for the manifestors to be able to gain the trust of the people that they want to impact. But essentially, living according to your correct strategy for your type allows you to make efficient use of your energy so that you find more balance and flow in your life. So for all of you manifestors who are watching this video, let me know which manifestor characteristic you resonate with the most. Now, moving on, what is the not self and signature theme? Well, each type has what's called the not self and signature themes, and you can think of these kind of as signposts or signals as to whether or not you're living in alignment to your true self. Your not self is your conditioned self, and your not self theme is what you'll experience when you make decisions through your conditioning and mental reasoning, as opposed to your appropriate strategy and authority. And that's really where you'll face the most resistance. So for manifestors, the not self theme is anger. And when they make decisions out of their not self, they end up feeling restricted and powerless. And these become deep sources of anger for manifestors. To avoid being controlled or rejected, a lot of not self-manifestors tend to really downplay their power and pretend they can't really do much. So they end up behaving like generators, just kind of waiting rather than initiating and really responding to what others want of them. They end up becoming impulsive workaholics, but end up being busy doing things that actually don't help them get closer to their true path or their true goals. And their timing can end up completely off when they initiate but forget to inform, and they'll end up moving through things and creating all sorts of resistance in their lives when they take that course of action. And this is what ends up resulting in complete exhaustion for manifestors. So as a manifestor, you need to know that if you want to get something done, if you want to achieve something, you need to go out there and initiate it. You are here to have an impact. And when people see manifestors doing the things that are authentic to them, that's what inspires them. That's what impacts them. And again, you are not here to please others. You're here to create an impact. And when you do, and when you're true to yourself and your urges, that's when you'll experience your signature theme in your life, which is peace. And peace is really what manifestors seek the most in their life. This is a place of no resistance, and this is where they're free to do whatever it is that they want to do. And when you're in this peace, that's how you'll know you're truly living in alignment. And the thing is, the most challenging part for us is that a lot of us are conditioned to believe that we need to live life in this one specific way. And if we don't live by this way, then we're destined to fail. You know, there's this idea that others know what's better for us than we know ourselves. But the reality is that we know what's best for us. And there's nothing holding us back from creating the life of our dreams. We have this ability to choose. And this really is why the Human Design experiment is so amazing. You know, you're really not supposed to just believe it. Don't take a word that I'm saying as truth. Really test it out for yourself and see what works for you. And just as a disclaimer, there is no good or bad type. There's no type that has more probability of wealth, success, and happiness. It just means that the way we're designed to obtain our desires and manifest things into our life are different. Therefore, the approaches that we implement should also be different and unique to us. And that brings me to the end of this video. So we answered your questions. What does type mean? How is your type determined? What is the manifestor aura? And what are the manifestor strategy, not self, and signature themes? And like I mentioned earlier, please do not take anything that I say as concrete rules. Take it all with a grain of salt. You don't have to believe anything that I say at all, because ultimately human design is an experiment. So now is your turn to experiment with your strategy and find out if it works for you. If you enjoyed this video, I'd be so grateful if you could show me some love, hit that like button, and subscribe to my channel to continue to learn more about the wonderful human design system. So with that said, have an amazing day or evening wherever you are, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.